yes, there is a lot of, there is a lot of ignorance, and this is can be a very triggering time because the whole thing is like, I'm speaking to it from a perspective of understanding the cosmic future. But I do want to say that getting a different perspective on this is really important so that you guys can find your balance of it. There's some people who are going to like balance my arguments and kind of create a more visceral lane of the future. But from someone who has like Jupiter retrograde, Neptune retrograde, Uranus retrograde, and Saturn retrograde, 4 retrogrades in my chart, I feel very like aware of the layers and realms of like how we have our ancestors and people that are like very much wanting to awaken who we are. At the same time, we have our purpose, and at the same time, there's all these timelines, right? And it's so important to be like, Jupiter retrograde is very 3D for me. It's very like in the now. I'm feeling, the energy of just a collision. And that's because Uranus is here with Taurus, and so now we'll go into the Sabian symbols and why there is going to be this need for a new inner outlook, a new inner approach to things, because Uranus is going to be direct and Jupiter is going to be going back. But Uranus does go retrograde in Taurus, and I'll tell you the date. So Uranus goes station retrograde August 29th, and we're already going to feel that it actually no, sorry. So this is actually, a different thing. It's going to be Uranus retrograde coupling up with Jupiter retrograde, and that's going to be like a really deep spiritual awakening. I think that's going to happen in the fall. And we will go over the aspects of Uranus going retrograde August 28th, 2023, and just how deep it is to go into like the linguistics of the Sabian symbols, but also the aspects. So we can really see on like which weeks we can really just, some of us can, if some of you guys are writers or musicians, some of these dates will be really pivotal to like link up with friends or like go like create a new space to like meditate in. Like the energy on Earth is just going to be so amazing with like Uranus here in one of the most beautiful signs, Taurus, again with Jupiter there in Taurus too, like the abundance and the richness of the Earth and what it's telling us. But first, not to be confusing, let's just finish through the Sabian symbols of this Jupiter retrograde with my insecurities. But then I also have Uranus in retrograde, which is the most intelligent retrograde. That's like an astrologer's dream. Someone who doesn't spend too much, but uses all their intellect and sovereignty towards diving deep into the world's mysteries. Okay, you ready? Let's go. And yeah, I'm going to be doing a photo shoot, and I'm going to be doing a lot of fun stuff in the future. Hopefully for this channel, like, I've been having a weird thing about like posting too many photos because I've been feeling super self-conscious. But hey, we have to work through the vibration of trust here. Like, I know there's other light workers who've dealt with really sad people and really people in really weird places, but it's the trust of love that connect us. And I really feel that with this Jupiter retrograde. Like, I'm really so happy YouTube has taken this higher direction of light working and energy healing. Look, you can get Reiki done on YouTube. You can like do sound healing. You can learn how to set up equipment. You can learn how to like, give me a brief moment because like Regulus, but yeah, we're going to just talk about the retrograde. Okay, so the first thing is Jupiter will be, yes, in Taurus in the 15th degree, starting its retrograde September 4th, right? So let me read you guys the Sabian symbol of Jupiter in its 15th degree. Here we go. Jupiter in its 15th degree of Taurus, right? A person with a silk hat muffled against the cold braves a storm. The symbol implies having to brave times of hardship and discomfort while still having to remain confident and somewhat cheerful. Even though this one is unable to avoid difficulties, there is the possibility of having to weather storms while maintaining that all will be okay in the end. Showing determination, confidence, and hope for the future will help you move forward, and it will encourage those around you at the same time. Wearing your best outfit while showing a brave face will win the respect of others who may not be aware of how difficult things really can be for you. Inner poise, being more important than outer appearances, braving stormy emotional weather, plowing on through difficulties, weathering storms, hats, scarves, mufflers, not showing true feelings, putting on superficial shows of strength, complaining instead of getting on with things, not dressing properly, and constant crisis. I understand this degree, and I do feel like with this degree, it's so important to be like, when it's going backwards in Taurus, I feel like with the Pluto retrograde that's happening, it's so important to realize by September 4th, we will either be in the 28th or the 27th degree of Pluto. Either way, that is a beautiful aspect to this Jupiter retrograde, kind of reminding us, and I'll put all the aspect and degrees in the description below, but this is reminding us, be prepared to expand, because I actually see that people are already anticipating the economical crisis, and people are preparing new businesses and new abundance for the fall. I actually do have this feeling with Pluto coming back in retrograde in Capricorn, people being like, okay, yeah, you're right. There's not enough prosperity that's been provided by some generations, and we're sorry, and we're going to build more solid structures for the newer generation to be incorporated in. And I think that fear we were all feeling kind of with the beginning of Pluto in Aquarius kind of gets restructured with the Pluto in retrograde in Capricorn. And what that means is that Pluto in Capricorn is here for a reason, to restructure our finances, restructure the infrastructure of businesses, and create more abundance and prosperity. So by the time we go into Pluto in Aquarius, we feel it on full effect. Why am I talking about Pluto? Because it trines Taurus in the 15th degree. And this degree is in retrograde. So I think what happens is that this anticipation of it being a storm in the fall because of the job situation gets reversed from anticipation. And that's what I'm trying to allude to. Moving forward, the time, September 23rd, 2023, Jupiter in Taurus will be retrograde 14 degrees. What this will mean is that the Sabian symbol of Taurus in 14 degrees is on the beach, children play while shellfish grope at the edge of the water. The symbol implies people and all living things existing together in peace and harmony. They are playing, enjoying, and living at the edge of the water on the beach, doing their own thing and getting on with their lives. People with this symbol often just want to get on with their own activities, enjoying life and nature. This is a lovely image of a live and let live attitude. Try taking some time out by the water and interact with others there. With the coming and going of the tide, people do what comes most naturally to them. Just be careful that you do not get out of your depth trying to be like others. Being self-sufficient, looking after one's own affairs. A sense of at one moment with all forms of life. Peaceful coexistence amongst being on different levels of evolution, meddling in people's lives, restriction of play, being distracted, building sandcastles that eventually wash away, voyeurism, sunburn, and exposure to weather. So I see kind of like happiness. I see this period, September 23rd, like with this degree going backwards, a deep sense of inner happiness out of us restructuring and working up to this degree from the summer of the build up to the retrograde on September 4th. So I feel as though we bring the abundance of the restructuring from the Pluto retrograde and the initiation of the Jupiter retrograde to bring in solid stability. And what that does is create a more perfect, picture perfect essence of harmony, but also an awareness of what truly is harmony and what truly is coexistence about, and truly reflecting on those leaders like MLK, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, those abundant leaders that ushered in a new peace, a better world for all people to live in harmony, coexisting, despite your belief system, you know? And I think here it's like all the restructuring that happened from Pluto and Capricorn really does trine over with the Taurus, grounded maturation of the energy. Let's move forward. As we move forward, we get into October 5th, 2023. We get into the 13th degree in Taurus. And what that does, this Sabian symbol is a porter carrying a mountain of heavy baggage. This is Taurus 13th degree Sabian symbol. The symbol implies someone who tends to carry the load for others. They often feel responsible for everyone and everything. The porter will usually spring to attention when asked to help or to shoulder the burden of others' luggage or their baggage. In fact, you may be doing a lot to help others, but not getting much appreciation or thanks. Be wary that you are not just helping people to hang on to their extra baggage through your desire to be useful and helpful. This can weigh them down when you are no longer available. Grinning and bearing the weight only works for so long before one tires of it. Self-reliance, being reliable, responsible, and helpful, owning people's garbage, shouldering people's baggage, being weighed down, bad backs, knees, or posture, busy with people's problems, not working on your own, not knowing when to say no, bearing family guilt, being useful but unimportant, trudging through life. So what I feel like what's going to happen with this retrograde in anticipation of it is we're going to have a restructuring that happens with the summer with the Pluto retrograde trining in Capricorn, trining Jupiter in Taurus. And what's going to happen when we get to this degree is you're going to feel the initiation of positive change. But what Jupiter is asking of us in retrograde is please don't spend too much. Please save a little. Please, if you get abundance of money from luck and the restructuring of all the things you've done, have a savings account. It's not a bad idea. It's Taurus. Taurus likes money. Taurus likes nice things. But if you're constantly buying nice things, you don't have time to even have a bag to take out the trash with. You know? You don't have time to go get a luggage when somebody asks you to go on a trip. You know what I mean? This is about being reliable. And like, I think to experience the abundance of the Jupiter retrograde, it's about having the abundance of what you've saved, of what you've done. I'm a natal Jupiter retrograde. I know that there's a billion opportunities that can be offered in a Jupiter retrograde, but the quality is what we're looking at with Taurus. And with that being in Taurus, it's like, know that there's bad opportunities and good opportunities. It's a bad opportunity to spend all your money at this time. It's a good opportunity to save. Let's move to the next degree. Third. October 15th, 2023, Jupiter goes in Taurus in 12 degrees retrograde. Here, a young couple. So I'm going to read the Sabian symbol of Taurus in 12 degrees. A young couple walk down Main Street window shopping. This symbol shows an image of a young woman, this symbol shows an image of a young couple window shopping, imagining and picturing what they want for their future. Some things may be out of reach, but that doesn't stop you from looking, planning, and dreaming of what might be. Enjoy the interlude and then get back to your real life, where you can take steps to make money or put your plans into actuality rather than just looking. Jealousy and greed can rise up when there seems to be so much, so close. Realize that the things of inner worth are available to you right now. Longing for things, consumerism and its allure, shared dreams, buying more and more, credit cards, finances, especially shared finances, the future and its possibilities, denying inner worth because of material deficiency, trying to keep up with the Jones, tire kickers, those who want to look but don't want to commit, overspending. What I see with this degree is coming into a realization. So by this degree, and this degree only, the 12th degree, we will be in October 15th. We're already halfway through the retrograde. By this time, we're building up our own kind of momentum of what's really worth spending our time and energy and expanding on. And by this time, I see people working on inner spirituality. It's like, this is a thing where it's like, are you going to go with the marketing scheme of you've saved up so much money and just going to spend it all just because you can? Or are you going to rethink the structure and value system of who you actually are and what it actually means to have money saved up? This whole Jupiter retrograde, by this time, I feel like people are going to be like, what does it actually mean to have money saved up? And why is there so much conflict with that? Is it the banking system? Do you save money up better when you take out cash? Do you need to go have a bank account in a different system? Do you need to work on stocks? Do you need to reevaluate stocks? Do you need to evaluate your position with your investments? Because here I feel like it's so much more important to realize your inner spirituality is so much richer with a saved bank account. Why? Because then you have money for the things you actually need in the future. And when you realize your true friends don't care what you have, your true friends would sit with you on a bench in the middle of nowhere and have a laugh. Your true friends would call you up at night and talk about the things you like. Your true friends don't care. It's the social media, it's the projection, it's the image, it's Neptune, right? In its most crisp, ideal constellation of Pisces that's emphasizing you need to glow up and you need to be shiny and you need to be interactive and you need to be this and you need to be that and all the trends, and then it's really important to study like how commercials affect our psychology. So like I would say get ad blockers, get YouTube channel premium where you don't have to like watch the commercials. I mean, if you're going to spend your money, spend it on things that don't induce capitalism and things that enrich your spirituality. You know what I mean? And that's what I think. I think there's this whole conflict now with the newer generations. Everything is now with money. Everything is in the now. You got to spend it now. And all the people who save their money are seen as weird. There's like a connotation with them. This is the time where you have to be creative. Maybe you recreate a value system that's more appeasable to the newer generation, something that engages you with the essence and life force of it, but also keeps you understanding where your money needs to go to create a more abundant future for yourself. And by this point, when Jupiter is in this aspect, it will actually be when Neptune is in Pisces in 25th degree, right? And we're in the middle of that Neptune retrograde. And Neptune will be making a really beautiful aspect to Neptune, Jupiter and Neptune. Jupiter will be aspect between Jupiter and Taurus, and Neptune and Pisces is a sextile. And a sextile is what they call a gateway to the new. I really do think this is a great time to be more open and have more new ideas, more new attitudes, and the potentiality to become a more spiritually rich person with what you have and the relationships you want to attract. And don't be scared of that and like the openness, right? Like open your third eye here. Like Neptune is asking you, open your third eye to unconditional love. And again, we need to move on to the next Sabian symbol, but this is a great time to save. Then we have Jupiter goes into Taurus in 11 degrees, October 23rd, 2023. That 11th degree Taurus, a person sprinkling long rows of flowers. So this is Taurus in the 11th degree and the Sabian symbol, and that happens on the October 23rd. So that happens just 8 days after the 12th degree. So as you can see, Jupiter starts picking up its speed and moving actually a little bit quicker in the retrograde. And this degree this symbol shows the need to take time to nurture your physical self. The mind needs to take a rest and the body needs to be allowed to come to bloom and bask a little in the light. Keeping an eye on things that you're responsible for will ensure that they don't dry out and fade away ahead of or before their time. Weeding out undesirable factors will be a necessary part of the process, as will tending to those who can't or won't look after themselves, quiet moments of tender care, can live in others and allow them to grow, nurture and fertilize creativity, external evidence of internal beauty, looking after small details to reap the rewards later, not drinking enough water, stopping to smell the roses, giving superficial attention to just keep up appearances, giving up on projects halfway through, neglect of things once they're established, water restrictions. Okay, with this degree, I really feel like Jupiter and Taurus is building us up in many ways. We are feeling it now, and we are going to go through these degrees anyway, so we're going to have a different reflection of it when it goes back. So we're going to have a completely balancing perspective when it goes back. So we're going to have one side of our brain going forward, and then when it goes back, it's going to balance the other side. But what I do feel like is going to happen in this degree is that there's just going to be a little bit less eccentricity by the time we get to the 11th degree, and I do feel like it will be like people just wanting to come together and grow. And by this time, it will be October 23rd. We will just be entering Scorpio season. We'll just be entering Scorpio season, and what that will do is, I think there will just be so much more warmth here. And I think it will be like about helping others who don't have as much privilege. And at times when you feel there's an extreme imbalance, I think it is important to have conversations about racial imbalances or things you feel, especially with empowering the other. And like, I think this is an important time to realize, like, we did have the Black Lives Matter movement. We do have the Juneteenth holiday. But why don't we have more holidays that are reflective of the Black Lives Matter movement? Why don't we have more unifying community events here that take the stigma of like spending all the time to have enjoyment and pleasure? And yes, Jupiter and Taurus is pleasure. It is comfort. It is knowing your comfort. And I want to say comfort with more emphasis, because I think there is a safety and balance here with men and women, and even non-binary. And I think it's like really important to like value, like, even though we're in Jupiter and Taurus, like so many women are still learning how to feel safe growing up in their community. And I think having community events and raising awareness of causes is a really great time. The overemphasis on pleasure can be a little bit like, I think it's more comfort here. I think it is true. Like the pleasure of getting people together, right? And then the comfort of knowing that you have a support, you have a community, you have people you can be together with is so important. Let's move forward to the next degree. Moving forward to, we have, by the time we get to October 29th, Jupiter will be in the 10th degree. And that degree is all about a Red Cross nurse with warm sympathy. This symbol shows caring, sympathy, and nursing others so they may find health and comfort. You probably have a lot of work on your own, but you may have to give your time to those needing help first. A great deal of inner healing can be achieved when helping. However, this can be difficult when you have to do too much. You may have to cross over to the dark side in order to bring light to situations. Adopt a hands-on attitude when looking after others and ensuring they get their needs met. Compassionate understanding and caring, breaking down borders between oneself and others, finding reserves of energy to keep going, giving but also receiving, healing, fussing and doing more than one needs to, being a doormat and doing more than your share, being officious and bossy, feeling used, unable to rest. Jupiter and Taurus in retrograde in the 10th degree, the Sabian symbol is a red cross nurse with warm sympathy. This symbol shows caring, sympathy, and nursing others so they may find health and comfort. You probably have a lot of work of your own, but you may have to give your time to those needing help first. A great deal of inner healing can be achieved when helping. However, this can be difficult when you have to do too much. You may have to cross over to the dark side in order to bring light to situations. Adopt a hands-on attitude when looking after others and ensuring that they get their needs met. compassionate understanding and caring, breaking down borders between oneself and others, finding reserves of energy to keep going, giving but also receiving, healing, fussing and doing more than one needs to, being a doormat and doing more than your share, being officious and bossy, feeling used, unable to rest. Okay, with this degree, by the time we get to this degree, November 10th, I really do see us coming to a place where, let me look at Neptune really quick. It's really important to see that Jupiter's in the 9th degree in Taurus. And what is this aspect with Neptune? Neptune has moved into Pisces. Neptune is still in retrograde December 6th. So what that happens is that Neptune will be in this aspect of a nice sextile with Jupiter still, with its retrograde deepening our intentions, and we will be guided here with this degree to be more helpful to our community. Even if you have little, it means sharing. Even if you have a platform, it means sharing. Even if you have a little bit of networking skills, it could be sharing. By this time, to open up our hearts, really, I really do think it's about sharing. Go meet out some new people. This is a great time to go meet people. Go to some shows. It's Scorpio season. Have a party. Have a Scorpion party. Go do something fun, you know? And because of the Scorpio South Node, I do think there is going to be some energies of like when that North Node and South Node shift, you have to be aware of like who you're friends with and how you connect. But here, I think it's more important. It's more important here to realize that it is really important about like keeping your eyes open and keeping those connections open. You need to be constantly connecting. Like it's like a muscle. The thing is like when you forget the muscle, that's when you fall into a funk and a deeper funk and everything gets confusing. But if you keep exercising the muscle of being warm and sympathetic, then you're exercising your humanity. And trust me, it gets easier and easier over time. If you're just like, I want to do all of this at once, it's so intense. Most of the most successful things are done over time. So like I said, by this time, you started helping people in the 11th degree. By the 10th degree, you start reaching out to more people, building a network, people to connect with. Let's move on to the next Sabian symbol.